What do our peers say about the manifesto? So there's a few examples here. And thanks for that, Steve. Yeah, modern development. There's different ways that Agile is now being rebranded, digital working, things like that. Just alternatives to calling it Agile, and it still enables you to live with Agile principles. It's just rebranded in a way that people are less concerned about. So the industry, and by the industry, we've got some examples here from actually some of the original creators of the manifesto. You'll note that the original creators of the manifesto have shot off and done their own things now. Dean Leffingwell is the creator of SAFe and the chief mythologist, I think he calls himself. You've got Ken Schwaber, you've got Jeff Sutherland leading up Scrum at Scale and Scrum Inc. So there's various offshoots of agility now. They've all gone their own separate ways and they're not agreeing anymore. They're not doing the same thing. So Dave Thomas, one of the original signatories, he says, the word Agile has been subverted to the point where it's effectively meaningless. And what passes for an Agile community seems to be largely an arena for consultants and vendors to hawk services and products. That comes back to a little bit about what the commoditization side of things was saying. It's a big arena full of consultants selling blueprinted, copy and pasted approaches. It's full of people selling and churning out new Scrum Masters here, there, and everywhere. Again, it's not necessarily a bad thing. There are positives in commoditization, access to learning, economies of scale and learning and things like that. But it can be done so with the wrong intent at times. We've also got Dr. Alistair Coburn, another creator of the manifesto, original signatory. He's created his own Heart of Agile. And he says it's become overly decorated and they need to cut it back and get back to the heart of Agile. Is anyone familiar with Heart of Agile?
No.
No? I do encourage you to look it up. It's an interesting take on agility. You've got, here we go, this is what I was saying a moment ago. So Scaled Agile is Dean Leffingwell. You've got Jeff Sutherland, Scrum at Scale, Ken Schwaber, Nexus, Alistair Coburn, Heart of Agile. So these original signatories have gone away and created their own flavors of agility, and not any of them agree. And to me, this is actually what Agile is. It's all of those things. It's not necessarily any one framework. Agile is a mindset. Agile is a continuous experiment. And this is why I very much encourage people to discover their own version of Agile and do so by borrowing lots of little bits and pieces of what works from other companies until you discover what works for your situation and your people.
Why don't we go back to the basic? I mean, I come from industry like you, right? Mm-hmm. I implemented Lean before and Kanban. And what Lean said is that you remove everything which is non-value added, mm-hmm. right? So it's the same thing you can do in the service industry, you know, and you can adapt afterwards whatever you want.
Yeah, I think this is what Alistair's saying. Strip a lot of it back. Go back to the basics. Focus on that. You know, we've now got Agile, we've got DevOps, we've got BizSecOps. You know, there's so many offshoots of things that are complicating things. There's so many different frameworks, methodologies, approaches out there. We need to go back to the basics.
I think it's really interesting because applying Agile to a service or to a digital product is very easy, but I actually come from a publishing background where you're dealing with a final print product. And it's quite an interesting concept to try and work out how you produce a book in an Agile way. And obviously, like, you could do it chapter by chapter, and you can do like serialized releases, but then it gets more complicated when you're looking at something like education publishing, in particular for schools and things, with syllabuses and that sort of thing. And I have absolutely no doubt there's a way to apply an Agile framework of some form to print publishing, but it doesn't look like quite a lot of the standard Agile frameworks out there. And I think it would have to be, I think the point that I'm trying to make is that industry by industry, everything has its own sort of complexities and nuances that mean different types of Agile are going to be required, and finding the one that works for each industry, and even on an individual basis on a company level, is probably the only way to really make it completely successful.
Mm-hmm. And I completely agree with you. And Steve Young also says so. You know, it shouldn't look the same. There's a huge attempt at the moment to standardize as much as possible. I think we shouldn't be doing that. We shouldn't be standardizing. We should be bespoking. We should be looking to help a company, an industry, learn their version of Agile. And if that means that the publishing industry experiments a lot, creates its own version, creates its own manifesto even, fine, let them do it. As long as it serves the people that are involved in it, that's the important thing, the customers involved.